Okay, so I was going to post up a video in response to a Mother Jones article, but this tweet right here caught my eye. Here's the tweet. Okay, aside from the responses you got, I'm going to break this down to you and spell it out for you because I obviously can tell you can't understand why. I think you're so blinded by political ideology that you cannot understand why. So, the first part, public funding to the CDC. You're talking about taking money from the public treasury, which in turn gets its money from the taxpayers. Everybody who obviously pays taxes. We have a, quote, regressive income tax in this country. So different people pay different percentages, but, and obviously even if it was a flat tax and everyone paid the same percentage, we'd all pay different amounts depending on our income. Even then, that money is forcefully taken from us. Unfortunately, in this country, you cannot choose whether or not you pay taxes. Even in this country, you cannot choose whether or not you pay taxes. That's what we call not an option, not optional. Okay, so you got that written down. That's the first point. The second point is that, look at the title, gun violence study. The title says it all right there. I mean, it's stuff we already know in regards to what this study is going to be about and how one-sided it really is. But let me break it down for you. All you're looking at is just to study the, quote, negative effects of gun ownership while ignoring all the positive effects. I've never heard of a CDC study yet to come out with a proposal to study which is the best concealed carry gun. I've not heard a CDC study come out yet to say, okay, what are the negative effects of all these gun laws that, we've had in place or proposed. I haven't seen a CDC study yet come out and say, well, okay, how did the government's permitting system prevent Carol Brown from getting that pistol, which may have saved her life from her ex-boyfriend, who stabbed her to death while she was in that long, arduous process of trying to get a permit to purchase a pistol in New Jersey. None of you gun control advocates have yet to come out and answer for that one. I've never seen a CDC study yet to say, okay, what are the negative effects of any government program or law or statute that went too far. It's all one-sided. It's set up for political agendas, people with political agendas, by people with political agendas. So basically, you've got, so far, people being forced to pay for research for people's political agenda. Third point, have you seen the methodology that a lot of these CDC studies use? I mean, obviously, we could talk about the Arthur Kellerman study, which got shown to be a hatchet job. I mean, the dude would not even release the methodology to his study until the CDC threatened to revoke his funding. After enough people complained to the CDC, hey, you know what, this is not peer-reviewed. We want the raw data. We need to see how he did this study. It was that bad that a researcher refused to show his own methodology and his own raw data, and then when it did, I mean, it was shown to be a joke. You couldn't even call it a scientific study just based on the number of cases he used alone. You've got the whole CDC study that claimed that 1 in 5 women would be raped or sexually assaulted, which didn't even ask them. It was a survey, and it didn't even ask whether or not the woman would be raped or sexually assaulted. They just simply asked a few vague questions such as, well, have you ever had sex while intoxicated? And if the answer was yes, well, that was considered a rape. So, I mean, you can see a lot of the shoddy methodology used in these CDC studies. It's not too hard to see. So, now we're at the point of taxpayers being forced to pay for studies by people with political agenda for people with a political agenda. And they don't even use sound methodology a lot of the times. So, I mean, right there is your answer as to why I and other people do not support having the federal government just waste taxpayer dollars to fund your political agenda. And that's the fact of the matter is. I mean, let's say a CDC study came out and said, there was a proposal for a CDC study that said, we're going to study the negative effects that homosexual relationships have, the risk of being a homosexual and contracting AIDS. That would get shut down in a heartbeat. That study wouldn't make it. I don't even think that study would get proposed if they had a study like that. Well, here's another one. A CDC study on the public health risks associated with illegal immigrants. Yeah, that would get shut down too by people like Barack Obama. Barack Obama would have the person who proposed that CDC study fired and probably jailed. And all your little leftist friends would be talking about how that dude was a Nazi. But the funny thing is that you and your little leftist friends have more in common with the Nazis than me and my libertarian friends do. All right, so I hope this answered your question here. You take her easy now.